Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to a new video. And in today's video I'm gonna rank all the palettes in my collection I'm gonna rank all the brands in my collection that I only have one palette of. I've had this idea for a really long time. I think I even saw somebody on YouTube creating a video similar to that, or maybe a video just like that, so it's definitely not my idea. I'm sure I've seen people make these videos, but I've gone through all of my collection. Roughly I have roughly something about like 50 eyeshadow palettes, maybe a little bit more now, because I haven't counted in like a month, and maybe there's a couple new products. I have like seven pens in front of me, 7 palettes in front of me that I haven't reviewed yet, and I haven't counted them into my like total into my collection because I haven't played with them yet and they're not officially in my collection yet. But from the like 50 or so palettes that I own, I've picked all the brands that I only have one palette of. I think it's something like 13 or 14 palettes, and I'm gonna rank them, show you all of them, explain why they're ranked that way, and tell you a little bit about my experience with these products and with these brands. So hopefully you will enjoy that. And in case you're new here, hi, my name's Sasha. I love indie makeup, I love colorful makeup, I love eyeshadows especially, and and I just really like filming these, not just like review videos, but also these more thorough collection videos and kind of giving you a little bit more information and being a little bit more thorough with these videos. So hopefully you will enjoy that. And in case you're not subscribed yet and you like my videos, I would definitely really appreciate if you would subscribe. I'm trying to hit 1K so that I can get monetized, and then I can, upgrade my camera and all these types of things. So I would really appreciate that, but no pressure in case you're not into this. And now for these brands, I'm gonna start with the worst and then we're gonna go up. Oh, and also in case you're interested in what I'm wearing, I'm currently reviewing the Tis the Season palette and the collection that comes with it from Cosmic Beauty. This is my first look. There's gonna be 4 looks, and or I hope I'm gonna be able to do 4 looks, and the video is probably gonna come out on Tuesday. So in case you want to see that, definitely subscribe and make sure that you get the notifications so that when I post this, you'll get the info about it. But this is my first look and I really love it. And I'm also wearing like the lipstick and the blush from the collection. So number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13. So I think this should be number 13. Well, actually, I have one palette that's new that I haven't used yet, and I only have that one palette from the brand, so maybe that's gonna be like a bonus at the end of this video. But the last palette in this, or like the lowest palette in the ranking, is the Hello Bean palette by Shroud in collaboration with Betty Bean. And the reason that it's there is just because, first of all, I don't know what's happening with this brand. It seems like it kind of disappeared, and a lot of people had problem with like not getting their orders or getting them really delayed, the owner not responding, and it was just, it was complicated. So that's why it's the lowest. And also I had to change the color story a bit. This shade and this shade weren't originally there because it didn't really work for me, like the palette and the color story. It's beautiful to look at, but it wasn't functional for me, and so I had to like swap it up a bit to create color story that I can function with. And also I think the shimmers in this palette aren't the best. I do love this inner corner, it's gorgeous. It's like a white with green and gold kind of sheen to it, and then this multichrome that goes from purple to green, I think that one is very pretty too. But the shade Woodsboro and Afterlife, Not really my favorite, not really sparkly, and also they're kind of the shades that don't really look good on me unless if they're really sparkly and what looking. So yeah, but I love the green mattes, like they're wonderful. This one is also really nice. This deep blue, it is sometimes a bit harder to use with these shades. Like it works with the greens, but it's kind of hard to use with the kind of orange and with the brown. So love the packaging, love the palette, love the idea behind it, love Betty Bean. But for me, it's not the most useful palette. It's kind of hard for me to use it. So that's why it's number 13. Then number 12. And by the way, from Shroud, I've also had the Moonfall palette. It was kind of like a jewel toned palette, but I decided to declutter that because if I want these shades, I actually already have them with in my collection, and the palette was too dark for me. I like to use these shades with a bit of either like pastels or just something to not make it too deep, or if I do make it really deep, it still wasn't perfect for me. It was really beautiful, but it wasn't perfect. So that's that. Another brand that I only have one palette of, but I've actually had another palette before, is the Lunar Beauty. This one is the Moonshroom. I've had the Siren Sunset before as well, but I decided to give it to a friend because it was too neutral and I didn't like the shimmers in that palette. They were too jelly, too soft, too just I don't know even how to explain it, but like very, very soft and very greasy formula. And the Moonshroom isn't better. I love the matte in here. Like the matte collection is gorgeous, and I love this color story. Like it's truly a wonderful color story. I love this. But the shimmers crease on me a lot, and they crease immediately. I can't even, like before I even finish like applying mascara and everything, it's already creasing. And that's just, it's not worth it. I was even kind of wondering if I shouldn't just scrape all the shimmers out of this palette and repress this with another shimmers, maybe with some of my Project Pan shimmers. Like that's genuine thought that I had, and I'm still wondering about that because I really love the matte. I love the selection. I think this is wonderful autumnal color story, and I love the packaging, and I want to keep this palette. And I'm kind of worried that if I'm gonna keep the shimmer formula that's in this, I might declutter this palette, and I don't really want to do that. So I could just take the shimmers out, but then I'm kind of, I don't really want to destroy it. Well, I wouldn't destroy it. I would just take it out of the pan and repress another shade. But it's always a struggle. Should I change the palette or not? Yeah. Because then if I'm gonna show it to you, it's gonna be different palette. But yeah, that's kind of a thought that I've been kind of, that's been going through my head a bit. So let me know if you would appreciate me changing up the shimmer formula so that it, or like exchanging the shimmer shades with something from my single collection, or maybe even some of my depotted shades to make it more me, or to make it just better and more functional, or if you want me to keep it this way and only use it for the matte, because I feel like it's a bit too big of a palette to only use the matte shades in this, but also I don't really want to just like, I don't want to get rid of this one. But yeah, that's the Moonshroom. It's wonderful. I love the way that Lunar Beauty creates the color stories. I love Manny MUI. I think he's really good at what he does. And I love the packaging. Like every single time it's just so magical and wonderful. But I don't like his shimmers. I'm sorry, I don't like his shimmers. On me, because I have kind of oilier eyelids and a bit of a hooded eyes, it creases like crazy. So, and I don't know, I know some people use this with setting spray, like to use it on the brush and then apply setting spray. I don't do that. Maybe it would work better that way, but I just never use shimmers that way. I either use them on their own, which is very barely, or I use my NYX glitter primer. That's my preferred way because I just like how shimmers look with this, and they stay nicely on me the whole day. I don't like using setting spray. Maybe it would work better with setting spray. I don't even know if I've ever tried it or not. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. I don't remember, and I don't know how it went, in case I've tried that. But I usually don't have setting spray on me, if I'm being honest. Like, I just never use setting spray. I don't even wear foundation most of the time. And even if I do, I don't use the spray. I just never understood what it's supposed to do, because for me it never did anything. The only thing that it did is made my face wet, and that's it. So yeah. So that's number 12. Number 11 for me is just knowing myself and knowing how much I'm gonna use it realistically. And that's the Kaleidos Cosmetics Paleo palette. I've wanted to buy the two other palettes during the Black Friday, the Archeo and Oceano, but the more I'm looking at them, the more I'm kind of like unsure if I would actually get as much uses in them as I think, and they're pretty expensive. So I still only have the Paleo. Maybe I'll wait, and maybe if they're gonna have a release that I'm super excited about, or maybe once I kind of make my decision about which of the palettes I want, I can always buy it. Like, they're not discontinuing it anytime soon, or at least I haven't heard them discontinuing that. But I have the Paleo palette. I love the idea of these, by the way. Like, they're wonderful. This was my first thing I've ever tried from Kaleidos, apart from their nail polishes. And this is the color story. I've created some really beautiful looks with this color story. I love the blue shades in this. Even though I would wish to have one kind of lighter blue shade, or even a lighter neutral shade, hopefully not beige though, because this one doesn't really have a light shade for me to use in the inner part of the lid. I mean, the shade Magma is quite nice, but it's still, I just prefer something more pastel in the inner part, and I don't have that here. And especially since especially since these two shades aren't that different. Like, yes, this is brown and this is berry, but they're almost similar depth, and on the eyes, honestly, it's not gonna make that much difference. I would wish one of them was preferably like lighter blue, because I think that would look really nicely, and it would also, like, this one could have been lighter blue. It would look still nicely with the browns. Like, I know some people really like to use blues with browns, and you would be able to do a full blue look as well. Or the shade Ice Core and Arctic Waters. The shade Ice Core, this one? No, this one. It shifts between purple and turquoise, and when it's turquoisey, it almost looks the same way as the Arctic Waters. So I kind of feel like with this multichrome, you could have swapped this shade for something else, you know? So I think you could have done this color story to have one lighter blue to do a full blue look, and then one lighter matte. It could have been like lighter kind of pale yellow. That would work really nicely with kind of all of these warmer shades. It would even look nice with this, honestly, and with the blue color story. Like, that would have been nice shade to have in this palette, and I feel like that would make this palette super interesting for me. It's a beautiful color story, and I love the quality of this. If these two things were swapped and like changed up, it would be the perfect palette. I genuinely think that I would wear this palette so much if these two things changed. So yeah. But I love this. Like, I genuinely, this is wonderful palette. The quality, the mattes are so nice. The shimmers, wonderful, and they don't crease at all. That's one thing that you don't have to worry with Kaleidos shimmers, from what I've heard and from what I've tested with this palette. No creasing. Even on the days when I would wear this for 15 hours. One day I think I've worn that for 17 hours. No creasing. No creasing at all. So you really don't have to worry about that. And that makes me very happy. But I would wish that this color story was better. And I kind of felt like maybe I'm gonna try to pick, if I'm gonna buy one of the other two palettes, I'm gonna try to pick the one that I can swap these shades with to still make a nice color story and have a nice color story there as well, you know? To kind of combine these two palettes and make a really good palette. I don't know if that's gonna be possible because I feel like there were shades in all of them that I were like, I don't really need them, but there's also shades that I really, really want to try. So I don't know. And I don't think they're selling these as singles, which is kind of shame. But yeah, that's the Paleo palette, and that was number 11, I think. Number 10. This one is really complicated for me, but I decided to the safest and like most. Sorry, there's for some reason somebody is trying fireworks right now. It's like the 14th of December. There's no reason to do that. But people are crazy. And I hate them. Seriously, can some people not exist? But yeah, this is the Haggard, and I think this is called the Ecstasy of Saintest or something. Something with Saintest. And it's a pinky, slightly purple color story. Sorry, because a lot of these shades are very pastel or light, and the background is black, the light is making it all look white. I don't know if this is gonna help. It's not gonna help, probably. But you have a very almost white looking pink. Yeah, I think now it's better. Then you have this very like bubblegum pink. Then you have this pink, gold, green, iridescent multichrome. Then you have this purple that has like a bit of brown and green. And then you have this kind of rosy brown. It's a beautiful color story, but realistically you're only gonna do like 1 or 2 looks with this. Love the matte format, it's wonderful. The shimmers are really nice too. I was surprised at this shimmer, which is super jelly, and I'm almost hitting pan on this one because it's so jelly and they're just, you use them up really quickly. It actually doesn't crease. Like somehow this gel is like thicker gel and it like sets almost like a glue and it doesn't move. I don't know how this works really, but it looks gorgeous. It is so gorgeous. I don't know if maybe I don't usually swatch in these types of videos. Well, I've never done a video like this, but you know, but like, I don't know if you see the shift from pink to green to gold, but it is so gorgeous. It's such a pretty shade. I love this shade. And yeah, it's a wonderful formula. I've had another palette from Haggard. It was the Night Scepter. No, it was like a blue, brown, gray color story, if I remember that correctly. It was really dark and the quality was nice, but I've decided that I'm not gonna be really using it a lot, that it's not really a color story that can offer me the most, and I just don't need it in my collection. But I do really like this one. It's a nice addition. I don't wear pinks very often, but I do like the pastel pinks in this, and I love the multichrome, and it's just kind of like a small palette to bring with you. So that's number 9 maybe. No, that's number 10. Number 9. Now it's getting so hard. I swear to God, like this, they're all so wonderful. I think the reason why I'm picking this one as the number 9 is just because it doesn't really have much shimmers. I've recently got this. This is a palette that is discontinued, you can't get it, but I found it at a second-hand online store. It's called Vinted. It's kind of like a Poshmark, and one lady, girl, someone, miss, I don't know, was selling this, and this is the Kaleidos Flower Punk palette. I still have the paper packaging, even though it's slightly like it's slightly torn apart. And this is the palette. It's so pretty. Ever since I've seen this in somebody's declutter years ago, like maybe 3 years ago, I've wanted this one, but I could never find it. It has the mirror that you can take off. It's really nice so that you can just like lay the palette on the table and just use the mirror. It's genius. I don't know why other brands have never done that. Like, hello. And this is the color story. It's beautiful and it actually works wonderfully. Like, even though this is a pretty old palette, it works amazingly. I've worn this palette like 4 times because I've got this like a month and a half ago, I think. But it's the wonderful color story. It only has 3 shimmers. They're wonderful. They're really gorgeous. They don't crease. They're soft. They're amazing formula. But there's only 3 of them. So, and I really like my shimmers. So that's the only reason why it's number 9. But it's gorgeous, and I wish Kaleidos would still do this because I would love to have their colorful palette, and it saddens me that they don't make them anymore. I was kind of thinking, because lately their small palettes, like I don't know if they're 5 or 6 pans, appeared on Monolith, and there was the orange turquoisey one, which I've wanted for a while, but I don't know how long they're gonna be there, and I don't know if Kaleidos will ever release anything fun again, or if they're just doing neutrals. And I'm not gonna buy a palette from them that is small and that I can technically dupe very easily, just for them to never release anything fun again. It's just kind of, why to torture yourself like that? But I do. I'm so happy that I have this one. And it's just so pretty. I love the like the packaging and everything. It's so gorgeous, and the color story is exactly up my alley. So yeah, that one. It's also like older palettes, so I feel like I shouldn't really rank it as high as the other ones, because I realistically don't know how long this one is gonna last before I'm gonna put it in like a safe or like in a different storage area. Now, number 8. I think this one is also just because it's small palette, and it's a color story that I don't wear as often. It's beautiful, but I don't wear it as often. And that's the Wicked Widow Lovesick palette. I wish they would release more of these small palettes, and I wish I had more of these small palettes. I think they only did 3: the Graveyard Smash, the Tea Party or Teacup, the Alice in Wonderland inspired one, and then this Valentine's one. It's beautiful, especially this periwinkle matte. Beyond beautiful. I love that one. And then this shimmer shade. It's kind of similar to the one in the Halloween palette, but this one is more sparkly. It's like a white base with green gold sheen. It's the Halloween shade, but on crack. But like heightened, you know, like it's gorgeous. I just don't wear pinks very often. I don't gravitate towards them, but whenever I do think about this palette, and I do want to use it during the winter, just because I haven't really touched her all that much. Like, I think I've used her like 10 times, 11 times so far. But you know, I want to use her more, especially for the periwinkle shade. It's so pretty. And I love the shimmers in this. The mattes are so soft and so wonderful. And I just wish that Wicked Widow would release more products. And not too big, because usually their palettes are really big, and I'm just not a fan of that. Then I think number 7 will be the What's Up Beauty Dragon Eye palette. And like What's Up Beauty in general. I'm kind of ranking it more as a brand than the palette, but I'm kind of basing my information on the palettes. But I'm also kind of thinking about what I like about the brand in general. And What's Up Beauty, I think they create really wonderful palettes. I like that all of their palettes are small. Like, I just like small, sleek palettes. I don't need 3 or 4 grams of eyeshadow in one pan. Like, honestly, even like 0.7 grams is perfect. Like, it still lasts you forever. And I would just rather have a smaller palette with smaller pans that like I can store nicely and I can enjoy nicely, and it's just all together, and it's nice to see everything, and it's just really easy and everything, than to have a giant palette and never be able to use up any of the shades. So this is the Dragon Eye. It is beautiful. It has like a very neutral matte that go, some of them go towards this like pinky tone, but then the shimmers are truly special. All of them are multichromes or duochromes, and you have like the shade Monster that goes from like gray to blue to purple, just this one. Then you have the shade Magic, also like it kind of goes from this like purple to kind of like, I don't know, like a berry beige. Then you have the shade Myth, which again it goes from kind of gold to kind of beige. This one is a purple to deep kind of like bluish green turquoise. Then there's the shade Fire, which is kind of pink to orange to gold. Like I see it pink on the camera, it looks gold. Then the shade Fierce, it kind of has like a bit of a blue base but gold sparkle. And the shade Fly, it's the most beautiful unicorn. It kind of shifts all sorts of different colors. This one is my favorite palette from What's Up Beauty. That's the reason why I bought it. The other palettes, they're really pretty. I know that some of them, I think it was the Monsoon palette, had a couple of shades I really want to have in my collection. But overall, they're pretty neutral. The shimmers look really pretty. The shimmers, I think they create a really wonderful shimmers. But I just wish that they would create a bit more interesting color stories and not create all, and not have, and I just would prefer some mattes that are neutrals. That's just me. I hope we're gonna get that eventually. I know that they don't release all that often. I don't even know if they've released any other palette after the Dragon Eye, and I know I've had this for a year. Like I know I was reviewing this summer along around Christmas last year, and I don't remember that they would have another palette. I know that they had the highlighters. I don't know if it was like Safari, or I know there was like a cheetah or something imprinted. Then they've had the lipsticks and the eyeliners, the metallic ones. Now they have some face products. Oh, the blushes that they've had now. And I don't know if they're doing any palettes anytime soon, but yeah, so love the quality, genuinely love the quality. I think it's stunning. I've worn this palette recently, like I think 2 days ago, after a really long time, and I couldn't believe how good the shimmers are. Like I think they're so wonderful. I have to use her more. I think the only reason why I don't use it as often is just because the mattes are a bit boring for me. I just never really gravitate towards neutrals. I would just rather use colorful mattes. So that's the only reason why I never really reach for it. But whenever I do, the shimmers genuinely just knock the air out of me. Then, number 6. I decided to put the Glam Shop. Technically I have more palettes from this brand, but I've only bought the other palette to depot them. I've decided not to depot one of them before I'm gonna try it. Well, actually 2 of them. I have the Laguna and the Niebeski 2020 because I want to first try them, to wear them and see if I like the color stories the way they are, or if I'm gonna depot them. But I bought them with the intention to depot them. And I also have the other palette from this collection. They had like a 2-palette collection. I think it was inspired by like 70s or 80s. I don't remember what the other palette is called, but that one I purposely bought for depotting it. So this is the only one that I've actually bought to keep it this way. And it's the Sorbeti palette. I love this one. I love just the shimmers that they have in this, because they're the most sparkly, wonderful, multichrome, duochrome, iridescent shimmers I've ever seen. They're beyond beautiful. They don't crease. They look genuinely magical. The matte shades in here also really pretty. They are neutrals, but they look really beautiful. But the shimmers are spectacular. I have a couple of their singles, and I've depotted the Alter Ego palette. Again, I bought that one only to depot it. And they had they had really nice shimmers in those, but this is the best formula I've ever seen from them. And I don't even know if they've ever created better formula than this. Like, it is just so perfect. It's beyond incredible. And I can't believe it costs how much it costs. It genuinely is so underpriced. But the releases that they've had for the past multiple months or years just aren't exciting to me. I love what they used to do, kind of when like Colourpop was the hype, in multiple years ago. I think they've had amazing palettes when they were doing the kind of more like monochromatic, or even some of the more colorful palettes. I think those were amazing, and I kind of wish I knew about them at that time, because every single time I see someone's collection and they mention these, they're so wonderful, and it just pains me that I can't buy them anymore. But everything that they have right now, it's all neutral, it's all soft, it's all not my style. So that's the only reason why it's here, because this palette is wonderful. It's one of my favorite palettes. I always reach for this when I want some special shimmers. Like, it's just amazing. And I love this matte shade. Like, it is amazing. It is just spectacular. But the rest of their collection I just don't really enjoy. And I do think that their single shades are really nice, and I want to buy some more single shades from them, but I would love to have some really nice palettes that are actually colorful. So that's the only reason why it's where it is. Now, number 5 is also gonna be really hard. But I've decided to put the Sugar Drizzle Elements of Evil. I love the packaging that Sugar Drizzle creates. I think they have really adorable packaging. So many of their palettes I was on the fence of buying just for the packaging. But their color stories, a lot of them just don't really sit well with me. Like, there's always something that I'm like, I'm not gonna use that though. Or, isn't this repetitive? You know, I'm always kind of like, do I really need this? But I know that their formula is amazing. I have the Elements of Evil. The shimmers in this, beyond incredible. The mattes, so soft. They remind me Gourmand Girls' formula, which I love that formula. And I wish that they would do more of this, because this one is a really interesting color story, and I do have a lot of uses for that. Yes, I sometimes have to use like one more matte to kind of finish this color story, but that's okay. It's a small palette, and it's mostly shimmer palette. I'm okay with that. But a lot of their other palettes, I just don't really... I always end up not buying them, and kind of telling myself out of buying them, because there's always something not exactly how I would like it, or it doesn't really give me any new ideas. You know, sometimes I buy palettes even though I have no clue what to do with them, because I can see ideas that I could try. I don't know if they're gonna work, but like I have ideas. But with this brand, a lot of their palettes, I just had no clue what else to do than monochromatic looks, which I don't really like to do all that much. Or I wasn't able to do anything else than monochromatic looks, because some of their palettes were kind of monochromatic. So like, I was so excited for the dragon palettes, like I think they had like Plumeria dragon, and then they had like, there was a collection with the Plumeria dragon palette, and I think 2 other palettes. Whenever they would sneak peek that, I was like, yes, gorgeous, I want that. And then I saw the color story, and I was just kind of like, I don't need this. Also, like the red panda, I think it was red panda, the packaging, I was like, yes, I'm buying that. And then I saw the color story, I was like, I don't need this. I don't have a way of using this. It just kind of, first of all, it looked very repetitive, and second of all, I just had no clue what to do with that color story. So that's kind of the main issue that I always struggle with this brand, and I would love to buy more from them. Like, I just hope that soon I'm gonna have an opportunity to buy something from them. Even the Monsters Inc. palette they've released. Like when they released it, I was kind of like, yes, this is really cool. And the more I saw it, the more I'm just kind of like, what am I gonna use that for though? Like I don't, it's not color story that I know would work for me. And also I don't really feel inspired. So I ended up not buying it even though it's already on Monolith. Or I think it's already on Monolith. I think I saw it there and I could have bought it, but I didn't. So yeah, but this one is amazing. I love this. And I actually took it even during summer holiday. I took it on my vacation because I just love these shimmers and they really are something special. Then number 4, I'm gonna put, even though that might shock a lot of people, I'm gonna put the Serpent palette by Micka Beauty Shop and Martha's Makeup. And that's because it's my only palette that I have from them. I've had the Earth Wizard palette. And I have the 7 Elysian Sins. I have that collection, but it's a collection of singles. When it comes to their palettes, I either didn't bought a lot of them because I just didn't really felt like I needed them or they weren't really my vibe. Or like, yeah, they just weren't my vibe. And I wish he would do more of color stories just like the Serpent palette. Obviously this one is a collaboration with Micka, but it is gorgeous. It's genuinely like this is me in a palette. It's exactly everything that I want in a palette. I even have pan in this shade and this one is very close to it. They're both very jelly, so obviously like it's easy to pan them, but yeah, I just love this color story. I love the formula, love the shade selection. The neons are amazing in this. The shimmers are so gorgeous. They don't crease. It's perfect. But I've never had any other palettes, and I've been following Micka for a while, and she did release a lot of palettes or re-released a lot of palettes in that time, and I never bought any of them. I only bought the Earth Wizard, and I ended up decluttering that because it just didn't really, some of the shades were too repetitive, and I felt like I can get better looks out of other palettes. I did love the shimmers, like I did love the shimmers in that. They were all so gorgeous, but also they were kind of repetitive. They were all kind of blue, purple, pink, if I remember that correctly. Like it was very similar, just like with a little bit of a different flip. But a lot of them had like similar base, or one would flip into one shade and the other would have a base of that shade, you know, so like it would, eventually they would turn out very similar on the eyes. Then number 3. Honestly, number 3 and 2, I have no clue how I made that decision, because if you asked me in 2 minutes, it would be different. Like, I genuinely don't know what to put, like, whether I should put, how should I arrange the number 2 and number 3 spot. But somehow I decided that the number 3 will be the Witch of the Wildflower by Dievroon. I've wanted to buy the Dewdrops palette by Dievroon, even the original, the Moth something, the first release of them. I ended up saving up and not buying it eventually, and then it wasn't in stock anymore. Dewdrops also wanted to buy it. There were so many other releases that I was more excited about, so, and I didn't have money for it, so decided to like postpone, save up for it, and then this was announced and I just really wanted this one. So this is the Witch of the Wildflower. It's a 9-pan. I think that this is a wonderful color story, wonderful formula. Love the matte selection, love the shimmer selection. I think they're very special and wonderful and amazing. And yeah, I really hope that they're gonna release another collection that will be up my alley. I think they already sneak peeked something, but I don't remember if there's any more info about that. I just think I saw like a, I don't know, a packaging detail or like a post with the packaging, but I don't remember if they said what it's gonna be, when it's gonna be, how it's gonna look like. I have no clue. But this one is wonderful. I don't know why this is in the third place, because I honestly don't even know why the other one is on the second place. It's here. I Who knows? Seriously, these two are so hard. The second place is the Glaminatrix Nocturnal palette. And I have the mini version. I think the reason why I put this in the second spot is because I really wanted the... Is it Into the Night? Or how is it called? There was one more palette from them in this type of long format that I really wanted. I even really want the mini pads that they released now, the like 4 different mini pads, but I don't really need that color story. It's monochromatic color story, and I don't really want that. But this one is such a gorgeous color story. Love the collection of mattes and shimmers. They're all wonderful. The shimmers don't crease at all. They're so sparkly, so magical, so iridescent, so shifty. The mattes, very blendable, very buildable, buttery smooth, wonderful formula, so pigmented. Like all the best and best and best. Like they all perform perfectly. I would really eventually want to get the Into the Night. I don't know if they had any other like colorful palette, because I only ever see the barely basic and then the kind of like pinky one with some of the grays. I don't know, like I feel like a lot of the ones that I've seen from them are the bigger palettes, like the 15 pans, 18 pans, I don't know. And they've been pretty neutral, which I don't do. But if they would release another like colorful color story, I'm definitely buying that immediately, because I just really love this formula, and I feel like when they do make colorful color stories, they're really wonderful. And I don't know, I think it's also because I think the reason why I don't have the Into the Night, or however it was called, is because whenever I wanted to buy it, it wasn't on Monolith, and I didn't want it to... For my first time trying a brand, if it's not European-based brand, I try to buy it on Monolith, because I don't know how much the shipping will cost, and sometimes the shipping and duties and everything, it's like double the price of the palette, sometimes even triple. Like sometimes it's insane how much it costs, and then you also have to pay the shipping and everything. Like it is so extremely expensive sometimes. I think Laminatrix is Australian. Is it Australian? Yes, Australian. I have no clue how much Australian shipping costs, but I've heard that it is insane. So for my first time trying a brand, I just don't want to pay all of these things, and I would rather wait for Monolith. But sometimes certain things just don't restock on Monolith, or they do restock in multiple months. So, you know, it's kind of hard. But yeah, I would really want another palette from them, because this color story and because the quality is so amazing. So yeah, and then the number 1 spot. This one is here because, first of all, I just love the formula, even though I've only used this palette like 4 times, maybe 5 times, but I just love the formula, and I know that pretty much every single release that they've had up to this palette, I wanted that, but never ended up getting, even though I've always said like, I'm gonna get this one, I'm gonna get this one, and then there were other things that were newer, so I wanted to buy them predominantly, and then this wasn't in stock, and it's the Fantastic Cosmetica. I have the Heroes of Souls. I've wanted the kind of blue-yellow one that came out a while ago. I've wanted the... I don't remember which ones, how they are called, but one of the greener ones, I've really wanted that one. Then the kind of berry mustard green, I think, like that one was also really beautiful. There were so many of these palettes, pretty much all of them, except the neutral one, which I think was the Warrior or Fighter or something, and then the collaboration with who they were collaborating with. Was it Amy? No. I don't remember. The collaboration, the kind of autumnal collaboration, I didn't want that one, and the Cradled in Ice also. Half of the color store wasn't really my thing, but all of the 9 pans, I wanted them. And when this came out, I just had to get this. It's kind of like a perfect combination of a lot of their previous palettes. Not shade by shade, like it's not a dupe of anything, but I just feel like I'm getting the idea of a lot of their previous palettes, and I love that for me. And this is just amazing formula. The mattes are so smooth, so blendable, so pigmented, so gorgeous on the eyes. And the shimmers, again, don't crease. I just love the selection, and I think they have like really unique undertones and flips. There's just something about this color story that just really sparks so much joy. I love the two pastel shades. They're so yummy. They look gorgeous on the eyes. And yeah, I definitely want to get on the Fantasy Cosmetica bandwagon and enjoy them, because this is such a gorgeous formula, and just like the quality of them and everything. It's genuinely special. So that's number 1. And then the bonus entry I've just received after such a long time. I think I've ordered this the last week of October. It came in the second week of December. But it's the Sinful Echoes Cosmic Crypt palette. It's actually super long for the fact that I think this is 6 pan. I was expecting this to be a lot sleeker, or like shorter. Otherwise it's really sleek, but it's so long for some reason. And I haven't tried this yet. I was kind of thinking about reviewing this palette during this weekend, because I would only need to do one look with it. But eventually I just decided to film with the Tis the Season. But this is how it looks like. The color story is wonderful. I usually don't wear red, but I just really wanted to try the Firma, and this was the only palette that was available when I was buying it, because they had the launch when it was midnight here, and I was too tired to like wait. And then at the 6, and then in the 6 in the morning, and then when I woke up at like 6 in the morning, this was the only one available. So yeah, and I know that they had a restock of the other of this collection, but since it took so long for me to get this palette, and I wanted to first get this palette and see how it looks and swatch it and try it before I'm gonna order the other palettes, because I wanted the blue one. That was the one that I wanted the most from this collection. But yeah, the shimmers, they're all so gorgeous. This one is like a berry going into gold, orange, and then into green. I think you can see it in the reflection. Then this one is kind of pink to gold. And this one is so wonderful, so sparkly, kind of like a vibrant pink going into peach almost. So yeah, they're all really wonderful. Like, they look stunning, and they don't look like they're gonna crease. They look like they're kind of more super soft, super finely milled, sparkly, full, sparkly, pigmented, but not a jelly formula. And I love those. So yeah, so far, like from what I can see and how it looks like in the pan, it looks like it's gonna be wonderful formula. And I've wanted so many things from Sinful Echoes. I wanted their original release. I almost bought that with this palette, but in one of their posts they've said that the original palette from Sinful Echoes is the last release, is the last restock with the square pans. So it kind of makes me think that they're gonna change it up and use round pans for it. And I prefer round pans, especially for palettes that are magnetic, because I can swap them easily and I can use them for my build your own palettes. So I hope they're gonna change it to round pans, and if they do, I will buy the round pan version, because that would just fit me more. Then they also had the other palette that was really beautiful, and then I think this. Again, I've never tried them before. It looked like it's gonna be really expensive. Also, I've never shipped from Etsy before, and I just wasn't really sure how much it would cost, and they were pretty expensive. And again, they do sell out super fast, so I never really had a chance to buy anything from them. But I hope they're gonna restock the original palette from them with the round pants. And after I'll try this, if the blue palette from this collection will be still available, I want to buy that one as well, because I love that they're small. I would prefer the palette to actually save up some space and not be so long, because this could have been like at least this much shorter. It definitely could have been done, because I just don't like palettes that are hard to store. And usually the small ones I like to have them like standing, but my drawer isn't this tall, so I can't have that standing. But then if I will have it like this, it's just gonna take so much space, like the other way around. It's just, even though it's small, it still takes up too much space for some reason. But yeah, those are all the brands that I only have one palette from. Most of these I would really like to get more. For most of these brands I would really like to get more of the palettes from them, but some of these I don't really feel like I need more palettes, at least not the way that they are releasing products currently. I would love to get more Lunar Beauty, but until they're gonna change the shimmer formula, I'm not doing that. Obviously Shroud, we don't know what's happening with that. Glam Shop, I hope they're gonna do colorful eyeshadows again, but who knows. So yeah, we'll see how that's gonna go in the future. But anyways, I can barely talk, so hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Let me know which of these brands you already have in your collection. If you have any other brands that I haven't mentioned and you really want me to try them, you can definitely leave a comment down below. And any kind of suggestions, I would love to hear from you. So hopefully you're gonna have, so I hope you've had a great day, and I'll be super happy to see you tomorrow with new makeup releases. So bye!